You think you have weak willpower, but that's not the truth. Most people quit on day 3 not because they're lazy, not because they're broken, and not because they just aren't disciplined enough. They quit because the human brain is wired to fight change, to protect the familiar, to keep you inside routines that feel safe and predictable.
If you've ever started a new habit with excitement on day 1, pushed yourself on day 2, and then suddenly felt resistance, doubt, or exhaustion on day 3, then congratulations, you're not weak, you're human. And you're standing in the exact spot where 90% of people give up. But the most important truth is this: that moment, that day 3 wall, is not a sign to quit. It's a sign that you're breaking the pattern your brain has held onto for years. Think about it. On day 1, motivation carries you. You feel inspired, energized, ready to start fresh. Day 1 is easy. Day 2 is a mix of motivation and effort. You still remember why you started, but it requires a little push. Then day 3 arrives like a wall. Suddenly your brain starts whispering, "You're tired. You don't have time. This isn't worth it. You can skip today." And right there, in that moment, most people interpret these thoughts as truth instead of what they really are. Your brain panicking because it senses a threat to your old identity, your old patterns, your old comfort zone.
The truth is simple, but uncomfortable. Your brain doesn't care about your goals. It cares about efficiency and safety. It wants to do what it has always done, because that requires the least energy. When you introduce a new habit, whether it's waking up early, journaling, eating healthier, working out, or learning something new, your brain sees it as a disruption. It activates resistance. Not because you can't change, but because change requires energy, and the brain's instinct is to conserve energy at all costs. That's why day 3 feels like hitting an invisible wall, because biologically, you are.
I once spoke with a friend who tried to start running every morning. Day 1, he woke up excited. Day 2, he felt a little sore but proud. Day 3, he didn't hear his alarm. Not because it didn't ring, but because his brain filtered the sound out while he slept. He told me later, "It felt like my body was sabotaging me." And in a way, it was. His brain was simply protecting the old routine. The routine where he stayed in bed, stayed comfortable, stayed the same. And this happens to everyone. You start something new, and your brain immediately pulls you back toward familiar patterns. It's the psychological gravity of your old self.
Here's something most people don't know. Your brain resists change, not because it hates growth, but because it doesn't trust consistency yet. Think of it like a guard dog standing at the door of your habits. On day 1, it lets you pass. It's curious. On day 2, it watches closely. But on day 3, it growls, blocks the door, tests you. Not because it wants you to fail, but because it wants to know if you're serious, if you'll show up again tomorrow, if this new habit is a real priority or just a temporary burst of enthusiasm. Day 3 isn't the problem, it's the test. The good news? If you push past day 3, even imperfectly, even badly, even for just a few minutes, something changes inside you. Your brain says, "Oh, we're really doing this." And the resistance drops. Not all at once, but enough for you to move forward, enough for your new identity to begin forming, enough for your old self to weaken. I once heard a story about a woman who wanted to meditate every morning. For years, she tried to build the habit but always quit around day 3 or day 4. One day, she decided something different. Instead of meditating for 20 minutes, she would meditate for 1 minute, literally 60 seconds. And this time, day 3 wasn't a wall, it was a doorway. She told herself, "I can do anything for 1 minute." And she did, 1 minute every day. Within a few weeks, the minute turned into 5, then 10. Eventually, meditation became part of her identity. She didn't rely on motivation, she relied on momentum. That's why she succeeded, not because she was stronger, but because she learned how to bypass the brain's day 3 resistance. That's the first key to not quitting. Lower the friction. Make the habit so easy that your brain has nothing to fight against. If you can't do 30 minutes, do 3. If you can't run a mile, walk for 5 minutes. If you can't write a full page, write 1 sentence. The point isn't the intensity. The point is the repetition. The point is showing your brain that this habit is here to stay.
The second key is understanding that motivation is a spark, not fuel. Motivation helps you start, but habits help you continue. People quit on day 3 because motivation wears off and they never built the system to carry them forward. If your habit depends on motivation, it will die the moment life gets stressful, busy, or overwhelming. But if your habit depends on a system, a tiny, repeatable, low-friction system, you can keep going even on bad days.
The third key is something almost no one talks about. Your brain reinforces whatever identity you act out consistently. If you skip the habit, your brain says, "See, we don't do this." But if you show up, even for a tiny amount of time, your brain says, "This is who we are now." And that identity becomes stronger every day you continue. I remember listening to a man who transformed his entire life, starting with one tiny habit, making his bed every morning. It sounds silly, right? But this man was depressed, overwhelmed, and felt like he had no control over anything. His therapist told him, "You need one daily win, something small, something guaranteed." And so he made his bed, day after day, month after month. And what started as a tiny daily win became the foundation for his entire identity. From that one small action, he gained confidence, discipline, and stability. One identity shift at a time.
That's the hidden truth behind day 3. It's where your identity is being formed. Not when everything is easy, not when motivation is high, but when your brain starts resisting. That resistance is the construction site of your new self. You just need to keep going long enough for the foundation to settle.
The fourth key is understanding the rule of 3. Day 1 is excitement. Day 2 is effort. Day 3 is resistance. But day 4 is breakthrough. Day 4 is identity. Day 4 is where most people never arrive, and where you can separate yourself from the 90% who quit. So how do you reach day 4? By planning for the struggle instead of being shocked by it. When you expect resistance, you're not surprised by it. You're prepared. You don't interpret it as failure, you interpret it as proof you're growing.
The final key is this: you don't need perfect days, you need consistent days. You can do the habit badly, you can show up tired, you can show up late, you can do the minimum. But as long as you show up, you win. The people who succeed aren't the people who have perfect routines. They're the people who refuse to break the chain long enough for the habit to take root.
And here's the truth that nobody tells you. Once you break past the day 3 wall for a few habits, something incredible happens. You begin trusting yourself. You begin believing that you can stick to something. And that belief carries into every other part of your life. When you prove to yourself that you can keep going when most people quit, you unlock a version of yourself you didn't know existed. Stronger, more disciplined, more capable. Someone who doesn't bow to resistance but moves through it. Someone who doesn't quit on day 3. Someone who becomes unstoppable.
So the next time you start a new habit, expect the wall. Expect the whispers of doubt. Expect the brain to push back. But remember this, those thoughts are not truth. They're not signs you should stop. They're simply echoes of your old identity trying to survive. And you are not your old identity anymore. Push through day 3, reach day 4, build the habit, rewrite your identity, become the exception, become the one who doesn't quit.